Hey guys, let's answer more Qigong question. All right, number one, let's see what we got here. From episode 5, Gerald. Hey Gerald. It says, Dear Adam Chan, first of all, thank you for your incredible insight and engaging videos. Thanks. I follow your work regularly and always come away with something to reflect on. This recent Qigong series has particularly caught my attention and sparked several questions I hope you won't mind asking. You don't mind me asking, sorry. If I may put them in some order. Okay, to begin with, I am curious about the duration of practice. Why is it necessary to meditate or practice Qigong for such long periods, sometimes hours at a time? What is the underlying principle here? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so how long you practice really depends what you're looking for. If you watch episode 1, I was practicing part-time for about 29, 30 years. Because I was mainly a martial artist. I was training martial arts for 39 years. But the first 10 years I was part-time. And then I trained full-time for 24 years. I would train 8 hours a day. At that time, I was training 6 days and 4 nights a week in martial arts. So I would train by myself in a day, bang, 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 bang. And then at nighttime, my students would come over and we would do non-cooperative pressure testing sometime, or sometimes we do cooperative drills. Then I got a job at Graveyard Security to test this stuff out because I was obsessed and I wanted to see if it works in real situations. And I also did private security work, and that was for 10 years. Eventually what happened was I ended up completely crashing, right? And then my symptoms was really bad. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. Some days I could, some days I can't. I lost my motor skills. Some days I can't even punch right. I can't even count to 20. I can't think. I was throwing up all the time, got at least 2 panic attacks a day. Sick all the time, throwing up all the time. It was brain fog. Went to a neurologist, went to an MD, went to psychologist, went to a post-concussion therapist, PTSD counseling, occupational hazard therapist, also did Chinese medicine, acupuncture, twin na, a lot of herbology, naturopath. Nothing fixed me. So I talked to my Sifu and he told me to do Qigong for real, because I've been doing Qigong at that time for 30 years, but just part-time. Like I'll do 50 minutes here, an hour here, skip a couple of days, do another half an hour there. It's not consistent, it's not serious. So he told me to do it 2 to 4 hours a day, every single day, never skip a day. And by year 2, all my symptoms went away and I was cured. And now I'm on year 5, I do it 4 hours a day, every day. So if you ask, why do someone do it so much? People that do it a lot like me usually have a background where they were once extremely sick and almost died, right? And that was really, 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 really hard for me to take, because physically, I was a very healthy person. I was a martial artist for a long time. And mentally, as far as I can remember, I've been a very happy person. And all of a sudden, I'm having 2 panic attacks a day. I don't even know what I'm anxious about. There was no reason for me to be anxious when my nervous system was crashing, right? So it's very hard for my ego to take that. And the fact that no doctor in all the different fields of medicine I went to could help me really scared me, right? So the last hope I had was Qigong, the mystic path, or DMT, the shamanistic path. And that was my last resort if Qigong doesn't work, but Qigong worked. So to answer your question, why people do it so much, that's the main reason. There was something that they had to do to heal, rather it was spiritually, emotionally, or physically. That's why the founder of Zen, Mo, he said, those who come to the Dharma come with great suffering. And I assume he made that statement after seeing thousands and thousands of students. I met a lot of people that do Qigong, very few are serious. The ones that are usually have a background where they were very sick or went through a hard time. Rather it was a near-death experience, or maybe trauma, or maybe death in the family, or maybe, in my case, really bad mental and physical health from overtraining, addiction that is, or other forms of addiction. So usually that's why people practice a lot. But if they're not looking for that, I don't recommend people practice a lot, contrary to what people think, right? I know what I'm saying is bad for business, but to be honest, I don't recommend people train a lot. If people are not sick like I was, if they just have chronic fatigue, no, sorry, not chronic fatigue, but if they just have fatigue and they just looking to better their health, Like my mom, she does Tai Chi, but she only does it every second day for about half an hour a day. She doesn't need more than that. She has no serious health problem, right? So if someone came to me and go, look, I just want to get some chi, get my dose of chi, like my mom does. She just want to feel a little bit more energy. Then look, 15 minutes a day is more than enough. Harvard did a study on meditation. 15 minutes a day, you can Google it, improves memory, improves the immune system, lowers stress and anxiety, improves creativity, endorphins, empathy. I'm probably forgetting a bunch, but you can look it up. Harvard Clinical Studies on Meditation. And so 15 minutes a day is all you need. So I wouldn't recommend more than that. For mental health, sitting practices, mindfulness, 15 minutes a day is good. But if you're saying, no, man, it's not about that. It's not about just getting some mindfulness and energy, but I'm not feeling too well, man, and I'm getting nightmares, and I'm getting anxiety attacks, and I have depression, or my heart's broken for some reason, for something, right? And I need some detoxing, some releasing, and some healing. And I'll probably recommend therapy, man, right? But if they come back and do a U-turn and go, look, that didn't work, just like you, it didn't work. And I'd be like, well, okay, well, I'm not a doctor. I can't claim that my stuff will work, but I can tell you that it worked for me, and I'll show it to you. Maybe it'll work for you. So that's the way I approach it. And that person can't do 15 hours a day. If he's under that much trauma, then I recommend minimum 2 hours a day. It doesn't have to be done in one sitting. You can do it maybe 40 minutes in the day, 40 minutes in the afternoon, 40 minutes at night. Like when I was really sick, I couldn't do 2 hours a day at one go. But my homework assignment by my teacher was minimum 2 hours a day, working up to four hours. So what I did the first month was I did sitting or standing 40 minutes in the morning, as soon as I get up, before I even brush my teeth, before I get my cup of coffee. I knew if I procrastinate, I might not do it. So I did 40 minutes. In the afternoon, midday, I'll do 40 minutes. Before I go to bed, I'll do 40 minutes. So there we go, that's 2 hours. Then I start increasing the time of all 3 sessions until I got to 4 hours. By the time I got to the third hour, it was no longer a chore. I looked forward to it. It became a blessing, right? I couldn't wait to do it. But at first it was torture, like the discipline it required. But now I do 4 hours a day, but it feels great. I can't wait to do it. It doesn't take any discipline, right? Once you really enjoy it. So it depends on the health issue. But let's say somebody passed that too. They don't have a physical problem. They don't have a stress problem. Emotionally, they're all healed up. They don't have heavy anxiety, depression, or anything. But they have a aching goal, like death anxiety. Maybe they saw death in their family. Or maybe they're looking to merge into spirituality. In that case, that's the highest level. Because first it starts off with physical fatality, then we move on to emotional healing through the sitting. The physical fatality is the standing. But now this person won't emerge all the way and go through a dissolving process. Well, then I'll be like, look, if you're just looking to see the white light to merge, historically, you don't have to do qigong. People with near-death experience that all the time. But you can't voluntarily have a near-death experience, so the next best thing is a shamanistic path. Way quicker, just go to a good retreat and do some DMT or ayahuasca. But maybe that person say, look, I'm not satisfied with a 5-minute or in DMT or a 4-hour window glimpse in ayahuasca. I want this to be 24 hours a day. So I choose the mystic path or the meditation path instead of the shamanistic path, which is the psychedelics path. In that case, then I'll have to be honest with them. Like, look, if you want to decrease stress, you just need 15 minutes. If you want to decrease trauma, you just need 2 hours. But if you want to go into merging, it's about 4 hours a day, right? And I'm speaking from personal experience. That's why I cannot guarantee how much and how long it will take for somebody else. I'm not qualified to make that statement, and I don't think it's right for me to make that statement. So everything I say is based on what I've seen in the last 30 years in different practitioners and teachers and so-called masters, and also my own personal experience. That's all I can speak for. I can't make a clinical claim. Okay, so I hope that answered that question about why people practice so long, right? Even a simple thing like standing, right? If you want more energy, If you just simply hang your spine, align your body, open the inside of your body, and relax and still your mind, roughly about 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day, that's enough to get that dialed in within 3 months. And after 3 months, you'll probably start feeling a little bit of the buffer. That's enough. So 50 minutes or 30 minutes a day if you're consistent. If you're not consistent, nothing works. But if you don't skip a day and you're consistent, 50 minutes or 30 minutes a day is enough to get the buffer, enough to get the energy like my mom does. And that's enough to get some energy, get some juice. It's like having a 5 espresso, but you're calm, right? But if someone's like, no, I'm a martial artist, I want to hit harder, I want to develop. And some of you have saw me on YouTube talking about how someone can't move you, even if you're on tiptoe. That kind of stuff all comes from standing. If someone wants that, they're a martial artist, then I'm like, well, half an hour or 15 minutes a day is not going to cut it, because you're going to have to stand so long until bone breathing and pore breathing happen. When that happens, you have structure. If you go past that and you start going to spontaneous movement, now we're going to end up talking about no structure, formless technique. That will usually take people about a minimum of 1 hour a day, every single day for at least 3 years. I mean, you can talk about it, but you can't do it. You got to do it. You got to practice, right? So, I mean, you can contrive this stuff. You can do pore breathing and bone breathing and force yourself to do it. There's many courses on that, but that's not what I'm talking about. That kind of stuff doesn't work in combat. If you have to think about it, it doesn't work. If you have to think, you already got punched in the face. Things are happening too fast in combat. So I'm using a martial art example of why people will have to post-train more or meditate more. Same thing with sword fighting, right? If you want to meditate, not just to delete some stress, but you're into blade work and you want to delete your fear of getting stabbed, then you got to do what the samurais did. The samurais weren't worried about getting stabbed. They were known to be fearless because they meditate all day. They trained to blend with the sword. So now you have to go into the merging process, which is about 4 hours a day. So how much you really do, depending on what you want. And you would need to, if you want, you can message me again on YouTube, or you can message me privately, and I can maybe, or if better yet, if you're one of my students in my courses, I always give personalized coaching. Once I get to know somebody, what they want, what background they're coming from, what kind of central nervous system they're carrying into class, then I can custom made a program for them. In fact, that's what I do in all my courses, whether I teach martial art or qigong. Without that, and you just kind of wing it and make blanket statements, I really don't believe in blanket statement. It really depends on what you want and what kind of mind and body you have to know how much you should practice. Okay, I hope I answered that question, and I know that you're gonna have more questions. I promise to answer them in the next episode, but we're out of time for now. All right. So if you guys got any questions, please leave in a comment below. I enjoy collecting your questions and pondering on them, and it makes me very happy when I get emails to know that it's helping you guys. So that's the first thing. Second thing, like and subscribe and share, especially if you know somebody that kind of needs this in their life, right? Send it to a friend. That's cool. And the last thing, I said in the last episode, I'll remind you guys again, I'm very happy. The Taoist Qi Gong community and training program on my website is officially released. I'm very happy about that. Just to review, it's going to have a live stream class once a week. Half the class is on guided Qigong meditation and everything we talk about so far in the podcast and more. Also, half the class is going to be live Q&A for personalized coaching and adjustment. Also, there's going to be a free stream library, so you can watch all past classes if you miss a live stream class. And also, there's going to be a free student forum, 80% off all live in-person retreat in Vancouver, a founding member discount, lifetime discount, and probably a bunch of stuff I'm forgetting. And anyways, I hope to see you guys there so we can train together. Have a good week, guys.